I just don't want like my future self to be like mad at me. To be like, "Oh, you didn't pay attention to the signs." I'm getting a haircut on Sunday. Every time I get a haircut, I know I'm gonna freaking regret it. But I feel like my hair is kind of boring and I want to do like something different, so I'm getting like a long wolf cut. Should be cool. My psoriasis is back, which is great. Um, I so basically I found an apartment, which is almost perfect. Almost being the key word. It's a big studio with a balcony in the 18th in a cool area. When I walked in, I was like, I didn't walk in and be like, oh my god, this is my place, but I walked in and I was like, oh, like I could be happy here. Like I immediately projected myself being there. The guy that lived there before plays guitar, and like I think his actual lifestyle is like close to mine, and so like seeing how he set up this space was very inspiring, I think, and a lot of really nice natural light. Everything was like nickel, like super clean. But there's a problem. I feel like in my budget, although I've visited a ton of places, a ton. I visited at least like 6 or 7 places. Sachant que à Paris, il n'y a pas 1000 qui sont en lien avec ce que je recherche. Donc disons que 6 sur 7 appartements, c'est pas mal. When you have the criteria that is pretty specific. Like a nice big studio or a 2 pièces. I'm like stalling to get to the problem. So the problem with the apartment is that the neighbor is like an older lady who has health issues, and apparently she's not very clean, and it's not very clear whether she's a hoarder or if she's apparently she's like mentally unstable, and so she's not very hygienic basically. And when I first visited the apartment, like I didn't notice any odors in the hallway. Like when I walked in the apartment, there was like a specific odor, but I wasn't sure. Like I just sort of wrote that off as like, you know, when you go to someone's house when you're younger and like their family has a specific smell and you don't really like the way this family smells. That's sort of what I wrote it off as. Like even when I first moved into this apartment, I didn't like the smell because I guess I just didn't like the way that the guy smelled that lived here before. But I agreed with the agent immo. I was like, oh, I'm going to take the place. And when we left, as we were leaving, he mentioned, like, oh, do you smell that in the hallway? Because there's, like, a neighbor. And I was like, wait, what? Like, and he explained the situation, sort of. And, I thought that was peculiar. That, like, I said I was going to get the place, and then he mentioned that in the end, almost like if it was an obligation that he had to mention it. So I asked him if I could take a meeting with the proprio, which is like the guy that owns the place, to sort of talk about like what is this issue, because apparently it's so serious that they had to call like the health department. It's not just like a small neighbor issue. And y'all know me, I have had my fair share of neighbor issues over the years. It's like everyone has like their lot in life, and I feel like mine is just like shitty neighbors. And so we had a rendezvous with the propriétaire, the owner of the house, and it just felt like very serious. Like it was like we're all like sitting in the office, and like the agent was like speaking in his place as if he was like his representative, and the guy was sitting next to me, and I was like, dude, can you not just like turn and like talk to me? So I just like turned directly to the guy. I'm like, so like, is this issue serious? And I'm like, is that why you're moving? And he was like, no, like I found like a bigger place, blah blah blah. We agreed that I would visit the place a second time to sort of, I guess my issue was like, I don't give a shit if like the person is unhygienic and they smell in the hallway, I just don't want that to get inside of my apartment, basically. I also just want to interject and say that, like, this is the neighbor whose door is literally right next to mine. Like, she's right to the left of my apartment. So it's not like she's down the hall. Like, we literally share a wall. So that kind of changes things. And when I was talking to the agent and everything, he was like, yeah, like, we've sent letters. Like, it's like a big deal, kind of. To be honest, I kind of feel like crying about it because, like, I just really like this place, and but then there's a part of me that feels like I shouldn't get it, you know? It's so dumb, like, I'm fucking annoyed. Because, like, what? I'm gonna invite people over and have to be like, so, like, this isn't me, like, this is the lady next door. And she's older, she's like 75, and they're like, you know, on habite dans son pays, où ça va être réglé, nanana. But I don't want to move into a place and have, like, this sort of dark cloud over it, basically. So I visit the place a second time. Fucking walk through the hallway, and the hallway had just been cleaned, and the guy was burning incense outside. So I'm like, the whole point of me visiting it a second time was for me to constater. Sorry, I keep going in between French and English, but it's because I've been hanging out, like, with more French people than usual, and so I feel like my brain is, like, in competition with itself. But yeah, like, the guy was burning incense in the hallway, and when I walked in, there was still that smell that I didn't like. But again, I can't say to the he, like, watches this. I can't say to the propriétaire, like, I'm not sure if I don't like your smell or if that smell's coming from the next apartment over. So this doesn't happen to me very often. It doesn't happen to me very often where I have a decision to make, where I'm in the flou, like, where I'm in the haze about what to do. And I'm wondering why this is happening to me. Because, you know, I meditate every day. I haven't been meditating as much as usual, unfortunately. But I am, like, very in touch with my gut instinct. But in this situation, I'm like, and I really feel like I don't know what to do because I love the apartment and I think I could be happy there. But I don't want to move in and just, like, have this dark cloud, like I said. So I talked to my parents about it, my mother and my father, and they're both like, I was like, would you not get the place because of that? And they're like, no, because, you know, my mom was explaining you can get, like, an air purifier and this and that. But in the end, it's essentially my decision, and I was happy to have, like, their confirmation. I think whenever you ask someone for advice, essentially you're just hoping that they're going to confirm what you hope already. And I talked to my sister and my brother-in-law, and they're like, like, it's sort of, yeah. It's like, they're just like, it depends, basically. So, I'm supposed to sign, I'm supposed to sign le promesse de vente, which is like, that purchase agreement on Thursday. I shook hands with the guy and said I was going to buy it, but, you know, this is like a serious thing. Like, this is like all of my savings to go into this place, and even then I have to take a loan. So I'm gonna do some investigation myself. I'm going to go to the apartment. I have the codes to the building, and since they know I'm not coming, they're not going to be burning incense in the hallway. And I was even thinking about knocking on the door to the neighbors and, like, trying to, like, get some more info. But I keep thinking that maybe the guy, he still lives there that owns it. He's going to be home, and he's going to open the door and see me there and be like, what the fuck what are you doing? But, like, this is too big of a decision. Like, if he does catch me, I'm just going to be like, doing my due diligence. I think a lot of times, this, like, has happened to me ever since I was, like, in high school. Because I do have a lot of situations, a very peppy personality, and I'm very easygoing. Even, like, the agent Imo, he was like, oh, you're so zen. That's actually a nice compliment. I was like, yeah, because I meditate. I think that people, and because I'm young, I think that people don't take me seriously, but we're gonna investigate. Like, we're going to the apartment. I just have, like, this two sides of me. I'm like, I also have, and I was telling my friend about this recently, an agreement with my angels. I sound like such a freaking, like, bizarre person, but I have an agreement with my angels when I'm not sure about a decision, about my sign for yes and my sign for no. I'm not going to tell you guys because I feel like it's personal, but whenever I see this sign, for example, let's just say, like, you know, you see a yellow poster, like that could be your sign for yes. So when I'm looking for an answer, I'll be like, okay, I need my universal answer. And I saw the universal answer for yes when I left the apartment on leaving. But then I have this other side of me that's like, in life, for me, like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, you know? And just like, why would I be presented with something that's has this issue? You know, like, don't I believe that when it's something that's right, it'll be like 100% yes? But then it's like, no place is perfect. You know what I mean? Like, I just have these sort of back and forths in my mind. So doing that this week is crazy. So this week, today I announced my EP release, which is very exciting. Like, I've been working on this for, God, like a year and a half. It's like my first musical project that I'm putting out there. I'm getting a haircut. I'm getting the woof cut. Not like super short, but like bangs. And I just feel like my hair is kind of boring. It's also like two-toned. Like, I just need to do something to sort of like, I'm getting a tattoo because I want to mark the occasion of my my first musical release. I'm also like working on a ton of musical projects. I'm going to the opera on Friday. I'm supposed to sign that purchase agreement. So yeah, I will take you guys along this week on what happens. I'll also, I don't know if I'm gonna film when I'm doing my investigation, but I just sort of feel like, I hate this feeling of like, I don't want to make the wrong decision. And I suppose, I always say that in life there is no right or wrong decision. There's just the decision that you make. And I really want to trust my intuition. And whenever I'm in this sort of situation, I just like ask for extra guidance. Like, come to me in my dreams or like something. I think the problem with me as well, I guess it's not a problem, it's a good thing, is like I pay attention to details like so much. Like, it could be like it can be like too much sometimes. Like, I will overanalyze things, overanalyze details, and I think that maybe in this situation, like when I visited the apartment and everything, like I would just notice like all these little things. I was like, oh, like I see in the corner that the guy has like a whole packet of like incense, and I see in this photo that he has them like lined up by the door, and it's like, maybe this is, you know, good. But even about people, like I just remember like the smallest details about people. I don't think in life, like, I've ever met someone that, like, I've been in a friendship with or a relationship with that, like, recollects the details as much as I do. I think it's because I keep a journal. And as well, I think that when you're an artist or when you write songs, like, detail is sort of everything because it's what paints a photo. It's what paints a picture. So, yeah, like, I would be so excited to have this apartment, like, but I don't want to have, like I told you guys, like this damper on it, you know? And it's, yeah, like it's not a small issue. Like I looked into, like in France, like how to, like what happens if you have like a neighbor like that and you have to like do a whole process against them. And I don't know, I feel like my life is really good right now. And like, do I want to add that extra stress? But also, like, it just felt that day when I saw the place, it just felt like so, yeah, this is my place, you know? So I think that it's good that I'm recording this because it's not often, like I said, in my life where I am confronted with a decision that is like so like it could go either way type thing. And since I would be buying the place, I still have to wait for like a loan to come through or like to get the okay from the bank. And so another part of me is like, well, if I'm not supposed to get it, just reject my dossier. I don't know, like, I just feel like, not angry with my angels, but just like, why would you guys do this to me? Like, oh my god. What kind, like, is this a test? Like, is this some sort of test? Like, will she follow her intuition or not? Because, like, I'm really, like, split. Like, I see myself there, but I don't want to see myself there smelling a neighbor that smells like fucking garbage, you know? That was a little bit abrasive, but I don't know. Yeah. So today I'm recording a demo for Fuck the Art World, which is not going to be on my first EP, but I'm already started working on my next, like my first full album. So I'm recording that, and I found some really cool like group that is going to help me with like the guitars on it. This has been big for me as well recently, is like opening up to other creatives collaborations, because since I am like such a independent person, like I used to always feel like no one's gonna do it as good as me, or like I can't trust people to work on things with me. But I feel like I think I told you guys I found in the street one day this painting on the back someone had handwritten aller vers l'autre, which means go towards other people. And I think this is going to be like a very important thing in my life, is to like learn to open up to other people. So yeah, I am also going to Thailand in the full month of June, which I'm like, what if I can do in Thailand? I think it'll be good though. Every time like I fuck off somewhere, it's always like the best thing ever, like when I randomly went to Greece. And then I'm supposed to go to Iceland for 2 months in the fall, but I cut it down to 1 month, which I think was a good choice for me personally. And yeah, I feel like maybe we should share some affirmations for myself as well, about just like trusting that everything's gonna work out for you. I do listen to like a lot of spiritual podcasts, and I listened to one the other day that was like, you're being guided and supported by the universe. And I'm just like, you need to remember that, Shayna, that like things are not gonna work out if they're not meant to. And maybe this is a period in my life where I'm supposed to, yeah, like come to this, I don't want to say a test, but like come to this situation with like feelings of trust, because it's easy to trust when you have no big dilemma, you know? So yeah, let's do some affirmations right now. I don't know what you guys are going through, but I feel like oftentimes in life we are faced with these situations. So some affirmations that come off the top of my head are: everything is always working out for me. I am fully supported in everything that I do. The universe is always conspiring in my favor. And I can't imagine the universe wanting me to have an apartment with a neighbor issue again. That would just be cruel. I am open to receiving guidance for the dilemmas in my life. I think as well, like something that I've been doing before I go to bed is I'll leave myself voice notes of like questions that I need answers to. And I think if I search au fond de moi, I think that the answer that I already know, because don't we already are, the answers are already within us. The answer that I already know is that this would be a great apartment for me, but this could also be an issue, you know? And so what I'm hoping for is when I do my detective work, I might even wear a wig, because I feel like it would be weird if the guy saw me. Maybe it would be weirder if he saw me with a wig on. But what I'm really hoping is when I do my detective work, that the answer will become crystal clear, that either there will be nothing, or either I'll be able to smell that neighbor and I'll be like, oh, actually, like, this is too much, you know? Another really good affirmation is I release all attachment to outcome, and instead I trust that things that are outside of my control are going to just work themselves out. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that demo. If I have time, I'll do my detective work tonight. I love calling it like my detective work. And if I don't, I'll do it tomorrow, either before or after I get my tattoo. So anyway, I will let you guys know how that goes. Also, like I said, my first musical project is coming out, so please go pre-save that. I would love to hear what you guys think of it when it's first out. This first album was me just really learning how to like put my thoughts and my words into musical form, and you know, experimenting with different things. And I feel like I'm really excited to be able to look back at one day like the first songs that I've made. I know like a lot of artists like cringe at that, like, oh, like I can't stand my first painting or this or that, but I really like, it's the same way that I feel about tattoos. Like the first tattoo I got when I was like 15, and it's this little flower on my wrist, and I don't love it, but I don't regret it because that's who I was then. And I think it's the same when you put out a piece of art. It's a moment in time, and I think that also permits us to allow ourselves to try things and expand. So yeah, go pre-save that. I also have journals out for spring. This is one of them. I'm writing in it right now. It says, "I'm so lucky." I read that this morning and I was like, yeah, I am fucking lucky. So I believe that if I'm not supposed to get this apartment, a pure sign will come to me in the following days. Like a sign that is so big that I can't miss it. And if I am supposed to get it, when I visit it secretly, I will feel at peace. And that'll be it. That'll be it. All right. I need to work a bit, and then I will vlog more later. So like I said, I did film my detective work and sort of les suites de tout ce qui s'est passé. When I like imported everything to this video, and it was like over an hour long. So if you guys are interested to see what happens next in this story, you can watch next week's video. This week has honestly been such a crazy roller coaster and something that I'm not really used to. And I know that essentially the decision is my own, but I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. After hearing everything that I've said, what do you think about the situation? Would you get the apartment? Would you think it's a huge deal? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm just laughing because the next vlog is like kind of ridiculous, like the whole detective work. You'll see if you watch it. But anyway, thank you guys for always being like, I never get any mean comments, and that's not like a flex. I'm just saying, like, I just feel like this community is so kind and generous with your encouragement, so I never ever feel nervous about sharing something that's more personal, and I just think that's such a gift. So thank you for always being so nice to me over these years. I really, really appreciate it. So I love you guys, and if you enjoy what I'm doing, I also have a podcast episode that I put out every month on my Patreon, as well as Zoom parties. This is actually going to be like a video podcast for my Patreon, but I felt like it wouldn't really make sense with the vlogs that were coming if I didn't post this on my actual YouTube channel. So if you guys like this sort of more like raw, vulnerable content, that's pretty much what I do on my Patreon page. So you guys can check that out if you like, as well as I have prints and some journals out. So anyway, I love you so much, and if you made it to the end, please let me know what you think about the situation. Bye!